Hi, I'm Tammy Brawley from the Green Kitchen and welcome to Heart of the Home. Today I'm going to show you a delicious duck breast recipe. I've done this now a few times and I love doing this. It's a coconut curry pan sauce. We start out by toasting whole spices. I cannot stress enough how great it is to do your own whole spices. In my pan here I have got some cinnamon, some coriander, I didn't have any cumin seeds, but I had ground cumin. I went in and added that. And then I've got fennel seeds in here as well, and some poppy seeds if I'm not mistaken. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move it over to a spice grinder. These are technically coffee bean grinders. I use them for spices. They're great for everything. You want to grind it. The good thing about it is once you do a spice in it, you can actually come back and clean the grinder with white rice, dry white rice, and then it's ready to go for your coffee beans or your next round of spices. So we've put our whole spices in there. We're going to grind this up. Wonderful. So we've got a nice spice mix here, and we're going to go ahead and add just a couple of drops of coconut oil to it to kind of give it a little pasty sort of mixture. And mix that over with a spoon. A few more drops there. So I've got a nice little paste here. Now we're going to come back to our duck breast. Now, a duck breast typically has a layer of fat on it, and trust me, you want to keep that on there for several reasons. One, you want it to render its own fat when you cook it, but duck, as you know, are mostly in cold waters, so they have this nice thick layer of fat to keep them warm. I love working with the duck breast. You want to come back with the skin side up, and you want to score it. Don't cut all the way down to the meat. We want to make kind of a triangular pattern here, right through the fat. And we're going to come back also in the opposite direction, kind of a crisscross sort of hatch pattern. I'm going to come over and turn my heat on. I want a fairly high temperature there. Not quite high, but I'm using my biggest burner, so I'm going to go down to about a medium high. What you may notice is I have no fat in that pan, and that is very true. We are going to use the duck fat to let that render. So while our pan is warming up, I'm going to come back to the duck breast. I'm going to take that delicious spice paste mixture that I've made, and I'm going to coat the duck. I'm going to coat the fat side. I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to do the other side as well. So once our pan is ready, we're going to put our duck in. We're going to put it in fat side down because we want that to render that nice, beautiful fat that's on top. All right, so it's gone about 15 minutes or so. We're going to turn it over. We're going to let that go for about another minute or so. Yes, it is nice and dark, and that's perfectly fine. Then after it seasons on the other side for about 2 minutes or so, we're going to pull it off and let it rest, and we're going to make a delicious pan sauce. Now, the thing about cooking with fats like this, particularly on the animal, is, you know, a lot of people think, ooh, it's a lot of fat, I really don't want to eat it. Well, you don't have to eat it. You really should cook with it on there because it gives it that flavor, but you can certainly cut that fat off before you eat it. So I'm going to go ahead and let this rest now. And what I want you to remember is that we had no fat at the beginning of this recipe, and that's how much duck fat that rendered. I'm going to pour it off into a bowl to let it cool, leaving just a little bit on the bottom of the pan. And now I'm going to come back and I'm actually going to add some chicken stock to that to deglaze it. Deglazing just basically means that you are getting those delicious bits of goodness off the bottom of the pan. I'm going to go ahead and add some spices to that. I have some grated ginger, some turmeric, and some cayenne pepper. I just wanted you to see, too, this is fresh ginger when you buy it in the stores and things, in the farmers markets, and you can use a microplane grater to grate it. So I have got about a tablespoon or so of ginger in here. I'm going to go ahead and add that to our sauce. And sometimes we can add the spices before we deglaze with the chicken stock. That's totally fine if you do that. But we're going to go ahead and bring that up to a boil. I have made this recipe before, and I've actually saved the duck fat and strained it and made duck fat French fries. Really, really good. So that's going to come to a boil, and then we're going to add some coconut milk and finish it off with some lime juice. The chicken stock that we deglazed with and the spices have thickened up a little bit. We're going to come back and add some coconut milk. I like adding cold things or room temperature things to a hot pan a little bit at a time. Helps blend it that much better. All right, we're going to let that go ahead and come to a boil. We're going to come back to our duck. We're going to go ahead and cut that. Nice, beautiful pink. Little medium rare to rare. All right, so when you're cutting the duck breast, if it is too rare or raw technically, just remember that you can always come back to another fresh pan that you've got nice and hot, and you can sear off the pieces there and make it a little bit more done. We have our delicious coconut pan sauce over here waiting. Let's squeeze some lime juice into this sauce to actually finish it off. If it is a little spicy, the lime juice will certainly help cut that spice. And if you're not much of a spice fan, you can certainly cut back on the amount of chili powder and the spices there at the beginning that we ground in the spice grinder. I am a big spice fan, so I love using it, but I know some people are not of the same taste buds. All right, so we're pouring that delicious coconut curry pan sauce over our pan-roasted duck. And if you want to take this to the next level, I highly recommend a nice Virginia wine to go along with this. We have a Riesling Traminette blend here. Riesling pairs very well with spicy foods, such as what we have here on the duck. I'm going to go enjoy this. And there you have it. I'm Tammy Brawley with your Green Kitchen. This is duck breast with the coconut curry pan sauce. Join us next time on Heart of the Home.
Recipes from the Heart of the Home can be found on the Virginia Farm Bureau website at vafb.com/recipes, as well as on Chef Tammy Brawley's website at greenkitchenrichmond.com.